he believe it seems like the snags are based on a couple of things. One having to do with this Max Thunder military exercise, and that's the basis on which North Korea said that DPRK said that they canceled the meeting with South Korea. And then more recently, they've focused on some comments by the new National Security Advisor analogizing North Korea to Libya. So I'm just wondering, particularly as to the military exercises, this seems to be, does he think this is the right time? Does he think there should be some meeting halfway? Or is he just hoping that it works out?
We believe that the parties involved know what their concerns are. And like the Secretary General said, he believes that common sense will prevail. He does regret that the inter-Korean meeting was canceled, but he hopes that the discussion will resume.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about a video. There are obviously a lot of videos, but this one seems to be confirmed its authenticity by the government of torture in Cameroon. The Cameroonian Army stepping on a man's head and beating the bottom of his feet, and so I'm wondering. It's a pretty widely, in Cameroon, it's seen by many people, and given that Mr. Fall was attempting to I guess, provide good offices between the Anglophone areas and the capital, maybe you've heard from him. Does he have any comment on this video that seems to be put an end to any belief of dialogue?
Well, we continue to hold out the hope that there will be dialogue among the parties. Mr. Fall has as you know, in past months, reached out to the various participants trying to see what he can do in that regard. We have no way of verifying the authenticity of this video, but we would be disturbed by any signs of torture. And of course, we would urge all parties, including the security forces, to refrain from such acts.
Thanks a lot. The Ministry of Defense has put out a press release about the video, and I just wanted to know, in cases where an army is at least initially depicted, unless it's somehow debunked, as being engaged in torture, what does DPKO do to ensure either that it's not using the same units who did it, the same individuals who did it? Separately, I know that there's been a long outstanding issue raised to DPKO about Sri Lankans that were sent unvetted by the government to Lebanon, and another commander that was sent to one of the missions in Africa. Does DPKO have an answer on that yet?
Yes, actually. Well, first of all, on the general principle, what we do is that our peacekeeping departments, that's to say the Department of Peacekeeping Operations and the Field Support, are engaged in making sure that all individuals and all units that are engaged in peacekeeping operations are fully vetted. And so we go through those. Now, regarding the question of the Sri Lankans, as of the past week, the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka was conducting an additional tier of vetting for 49 Sri Lankan officers who have been already deployed to the UN mission in Lebanon, UNIFIL. The Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka is undertaking their vetting and the vetting of the remaining 101 military personnel of the unit who are scheduled to be deployed. We're working together with the government of Sri Lanka to ensure that the screening arrangements with the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka comply with UN policy. Compliance with these arrangements will be required before the UN can receive any further deployments or rotations from Sri Lanka.
Has there been any I guess, update or good news in the case of the missing peacekeepers in the DRC, the 2 Benin peacekeepers?
No, the status for those peacekeepers is exactly as we've mentioned them yesterday.
And I wanted to ask, in Madagascar, I've seen, there was a sort of a readout at the end of Mr. Bathily's mission there, but there are also articles from reputable sources saying that the opposition, quote, snubbed him, didn't believe in his presentations. Does he feel that it was a successful trip? And two, now that it's over, and he was when actually employed, how much has it cost the UN, this mission?
Well, we'd calculate the costs of the use for Mr. Bathily as we need to use him over the course of a period of time. So if we need to use him again, we'd continue to do that. There's no calculation to be made immediately. Regarding Mr. Bathily's efforts, I would just refer you to the information we put out there.
But is he paid at the level of an Undersecretary General? I know it's when actually employed. I guess that's why I'm asking. He was not a UN person.
He has an actually employed contract, and we'll deal with his salary as the figures come up. Come on up, Brendan.